All right, let's talk Micron. They just dropped their most critical earnings report of the year, and honestly, the stakes could not have been higher. We're going to break down exactly what happened, and more importantly, what this all means for the stock going forward.
The market had basically priced this thing for perfection. After a mind-blowing 38% rally in just 1 month, the question on every single investor's mind was simple. Could Micron possibly clear a bar that was set this high? So let's just get right to it.
Okay, first the bottom line. Non-GAAP earnings per share, or EPS, came in at $3.03. Now, the number to beat here was the Wall Street consensus of $2.86. So check one, that is a solid beat, a really strong start.
And what about the top line, the revenue? $11.32 billion, again beating expectations, but get this, that's a staggering 46% jump from a year ago. That kind of growth is just, wow, it's undeniable.
So to answer that big question we started with, yes, absolutely. This was a decisive beat across the board. Facing immense pressure, Micron didn't just meet the hype, they totally surpassed it. So how in the world did they pull this off? Well, let's pop the hood and look at the engine that drove these results.
The story of this quarter, and frankly, the whole story for Micron right now, it's all about one thing, AI, and specifically the absolutely insane demand for their high bandwidth memory, or HBM.
And this chart right here really shows you the core of Micron's whole transformation. AI data center memory has just exploded. It's now roughly 40% of their sales. Now, to put that into perspective for you, just 1 year ago, it was only 19%. This isn't just a little bit of growth. This is a massive, strategic pivot into the high-margin world of AI.
So, what does that pivot look like in actual dollars? Well, the company reported nearly $2 billion in HBM sales for this quarter alone. Think about that. That puts them on an annualized run rate of almost $8 billion. This isn't just a pivot, it's a super successful high-speed transformation happening right before our eyes. And you could just feel the confidence coming from management. The CEO, Sanjay Marotra, came right out and said it. They are one of the biggest beneficiaries of AI in the entire industry. And look, that isn't just marketing speak. The numbers we just saw back that up completely. But you know how it is? What about the future?
Because a strong quarter is one thing, right? But Wall Street is always looking ahead to the guidance. And on that front, well, Micron just went and raised the bar all over again.
The message from management was crystal clear. This is not a one-time pop. No way. They are signaling that the momentum is actually accelerating as they head into the new fiscal year.
And here are the numbers. For next quarter, they're expecting revenue between $12.2 and $12.8 billion. Look at this gross margin, guided to a massive 51.5%, give or take a point. And EPS is projected at $3.75 plus or minus 15 cents. These are just stellar numbers. They point to some serious operating leverage and real pricing power.
So if you boil it all down, the key themes from the call painted this really powerful picture. First, the supply for memory is getting tighter, which gives them more and more pricing power. And at the same time, the demand for their super important HBM products is accelerating so fast that their entire 2026 capacity might be sold out within months. Just wild.
Okay, so all of that brings us to our analysis. This is where we take all the data, the narrative, and distill it down into a clear, forward-looking verdict. This is the next call.
So after digging into the results, the guidance, and all the commentary, what's our call on Micron from here? Where do we actually see this thing going?
All right, here's what we predict. That pricing strength we're seeing right now, that's going to continue, and it's going to drive margins even higher. The next big catalyst you need to watch for will be any announcements around their next-gen HBM4 product. That's the stuff that's going to power the next wave of AI. So all of this really puts them in a prime position for another classic beat and raise quarter, because these powerful tailwinds of tight supply and booming AI demand show zero signs of slowing down.
So based on this entire analysis, the powerful AI-driven shift in their business, the incredible pricing power they're showing, and that stellar forward guidance that just completely reset expectations, our rating on Micron is a firm outperform.
This is not financial advice.